maybe 10 or 20 that are just keeping their heads above water in their own generation. So somehow, I mean, those ones are enough anyway. If those ones can make it, God, now only God know why you know make them. At least look at director's cut. You know, be your mate. Yeah, he has built his first house. He's currently building a house for his mother. Yeah? And he's just 30 years old. You at the age of 42, you no get wife, you no get children, you no get anything, job you no get, skill you no get. You say you be graduate, but your graduate is religious study. And you know all that kind of thing that you are almost like useless. Now, somehow, you are now aspiring to be the counselor of your ward in your local government area. Because no, at least you are educated at this age. So people could go they say, look at Director Scott, he's your age, he's here you get. And you could go they wonder, say, not true. Now God bless him. It's only God that helped him, doesn't mean. That's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm trying to say here. That you get to realize that and most of these success stories, people have to do it on their own. Systemically, the system is there to exploit you, brainwash you, and at the same time, to indoctrinate you. You know that what indoctrination is, right? Of course you do. So if you think outside all kind of indoctrination, you are considered as a rebel. Devil picking. Devil, we did this your heart. This devil, we did this your heart. How many times did someone do that to you when you are growing up? Because you are just stubborn. Other children are obeying. The indoctrination was working. They obey, obedient to children. And can't you be like, hey, I don't even know what happened though. When I don't know about you, when you frustrate your mom to some extent, and she'll be talking loud and say, I don't even know, I don't even know where I even got you from. Eh? Out of all my children, you are the only one that is, because now only you they think outside the box. You understand? Now only you they wonder why that one go get bigger meat, you go get small. Now only you they wonder, but to others, they've told them they should just obey it and follow it. You will don't turn to rebel, that turn to rebel within them. They will say they should watch out for you. Then they will say, you see the devil, this devil inside your heart. This score, this devil in your head, you are the devil speaking. That kind of a child, the type of child that they have to give a special prayer. They have his own special prayer during family prayer time. Don't see my eyes don't see to some extent, even with this my little age. Right? I've went for an holiday before that the only background check that this lovely family, right, they heard about me was that I was a very stubborn boy. He's a very stubborn boy. I don't know why they believed I was so stubborn. Sure you get, and these people had their own church. So before I got to the house, the daddy, which is the father of everybody, they were aware of me. Okay, true story or personal story. So when I got to Lagos, and I got to the place, they have their children who are like my age mates and a little bit older than me and maybe younger. So they now said, me, we welcome, play around a bit, and they told us to go to bed. So while I was in the room with other boys, like two others, the old man now came, and it was like around 10 or 11, right? He now came into the room and he said, Sheyi, please come. So I stood up. I followed him to the living room. So when we got to the living room, the old man, right, he had a Bible. So he brought out the Bible. I can't specifically probably remember the exact chapter, this chapter, that. I just realized that all the chapters he was quoting in the Bible and he was asking me to open them. They were talking about stubborn child, why a child must obey their parents. Any child that disobey their parent, they are following the path to destruction. So when we get to anything, we say, may that not be your portion. But don't worry, don't worry. Your holiday here, right? Holy Spirit, Heavenly Father will help us. I call me like say I go psychiatric home. I swear. Not like that. It was like I needed help. That something was wrong with me. I was brilliant. I was like, in fact, I was partly on scholarship. Yeah, this in my primary school. I had scholarship all through. And our own kind of scholarship is not that your own kind of scholarship. Our own kind of scholarship was that once you came first, you are going to get a free exercise books that you're going to use in next class. You are going to get all the writing materials, pencils, sharpeners, master, all those, you get everything, right? And then they will now give you prize money. That prize money will buy my own textbooks. So which means like 80% of what I needed for my next class, I will win them in this present class. So that's the way I was. So they just didn't know what was wrong with me. I just didn't listen. I'm always like making trouble. I'm making trouble. It's not like I was making trouble everywhere, but it's just that like they would tell me to do something and I just not do it. You know, I forgot. You forgot. And that time that, they're like, why did you forget? And I was already like sweating, all my head dusty because I've been playing football like for hours. Didn't do anything, you know. So Baba will now say, so throughout my holiday, I will never forget. This is why I couldn't forget it. So maybe like around every 3 a.m., 3 a.m. in the morning, when I'm probably trying to get into that sleep, go, 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 it will come in and it will wake me and he will ask me to sit in the living room. Like that kind of gentle torture that I started kind of wondering that maybe I actually had the evil spirit. You know, I was convinced enough that because I was living in Odogbolu, we had all those, there were sacrifices everywhere. And God help me. I used to wonder why people would leave money on sacrifices whenever I was like passing by and I'm like, why did they leave all these 5 naira notes here? So we'll go pick them, something like that. So they started convincing me that maybe that was true. And I wasn't doing anything wrong. I was just being playful, just being in such a way. Now back to the real thing. So when you are dealing with Tifnumbu and his gang, the characters that will convince you, right, that even in the toughest of the toughest hardship, eh, your case is still better. And you know that in Nigeria, we have this habit. I don't know if you have noticed that too. And that habit was that you're wondering. So the habit was this. I don't know if it's an habit, but you are going to get it when I say it now, okay? We love to compete. Okay, maybe that is not that competition, I mean, right? We love to compete in the sense that we love to compete at the oddest things, the weirdest things. For example, if if I say, man, let me share a story with you, all of you. I just want to do a motivational speaker for you. I want to motivate you. Do you know that if I tell you that the kind of sufferness I suffered, I suffer, ah, and I want to start describing it. As much as you are supposed to be interested in my story and say, wow, really, Maiyegun? Eh? You see, if I was sharing my personal upbringing and everything stories with Agbeke, yeah, At some point, I go, oh, my baby, come here. You actually went through that? And I'll be like, oh, you don't understand. I'll come there, wait for the cuddle. Oh, my baby, I'm so sorry. Come here, come. Oh, really? Yes. We carry Koroba for 3 kilometers. And I have to fetch drum. I have to, oh, but I said, no, that's the way we're being, you understand? Because it has to be done. Everybody goes, everybody had their own show and all that. But you don't do that with Nigerians. If you are in a room and everybody's now talking about, Baba, I suffer. Baba, I dey thank God. Baba, if I tell you what my eyes see, now only God, I suffer. Maybe somebody there should just be like, really, Baba, sorry, sorry, I understand. No, a Nigerian would jump into it and say, oh, Baba, you know, he never hear your story. He go automatically say, Baba, you know suffer reach me. You come here and say, suffer next to the competition, but you say, hey, oh yeah, let's see who suffer past. I suffer past you. Baba. So why two of you are still struggling who suffer past? Another person will say, see, the combination of the two of you sufferness, you know, reach 5% of my own. I say, oh yeah, tell us your own suffer. In that manner, yeah, Nigerians are more or less like, if I tell you my story, everybody here go they cry. Say, I know if you cry. My own story, what's past your own? Baba, I'm telling you, if I tell you my story, you will start crying. If you are crying and son say, another person will just say, if I tell you my true life story, I swear to God, 3 of you will die. Yeah. Why would your story make me die? That's Nigerian way. So therefore, the criminal politicians will now be like, no matter what you are going through, your own better. Do you know that in Cotonou, a tin cup of rice is 2,000 naira? But in Nigeria, it is 1,000, it is 900 naira. You will come to ask yourself, say, am I from Cotonou go sell? They say Cotonou ni mute wani. They say, hey, see, a bag of rice in Ghana is the 3 cedis. In 3 cedi naira is say 150,000 naira, but in Nigeria is 80,000 naira. You go to say, Shara Ghana, I mean, like, am I supposed to be grateful that people in Ghana are buying a bag of rice for 100, even if they buy it for 500,000 naira per bag? Why should I be grateful for their sufferness and appreciate my own suffering? Say, well, I think my own is better. So a bag of rice is 500,000 in Ghana. Bajo. No, what Nigeria is better. Yeah, let's be honest. Things are coming down. Things are getting better. APC, Egbekegbe, they are very good doing that. Make you feel like no matter how things have turned, you with the feet pay your children's school fees before because you had job. Now your salary can't pay the school fees of your children. It can't feed them. It can't feed you. You know about that. But somebody is now telling you that the reason why you can't pay your children's school fees is not because of the economy, it's not because of the low pay. It is because you are not thankful. If you know how much they are paying in Ghana, if you know how much they are paying in South Africa, even those people with the UK, where they tell you say Nigeria are no good, ask them how much is their rent. You that is inside the whole pangolo already. They will tell you, say, make you appreciate God. You should be happy. You should be grateful. We all know that things are not great. But at least, your own is better. There's all of you that is screaming, you cannot live in the UK. Ask your people in the UK, say, listen, you're talking about this place. And there's somebody that told you he would do it better. And some of you believed him. Now do it. They say they get emotional. This one wanted to be president. He's one of those who were doing remember when Showore and others, 2019, Fasua, Tope Fasua.
No, well, thank you very much. Money illusion is a concept, a well-known concept in economics. Maybe you're having a high velocity of money without actually being able to purchase as much as you can. However, in this instance, it's not just like that. It's not, it doesn't work fully well. Why? Because of one critical thing. The prices of factors of production have not increased at the same rate as the depreciation in the value of the naira. So if you had 100,000 naira today, whereas it may not be able to buy you what 100,000 will buy 2-3 years ago, it can still take you some way. Because for example, the price of labor has actually not increased commensurately. For example, so those who are in the construction world are still able to do a lot more with the naira that they have. This is a naira economy, not a dollar economy. Therefore, it doesn't actually work, scientifically and logically for us to just simply convert the money into dollar and say, oh, look at it where the dollar is. Nigeria is still a very cheap country to live in. Nigeria is cheaper. People who have gone to Ghana and come back, and I've done that a few times in the past, will tell you there's a lot. The naira goes a lot farther than the Ghanaian CD and so on. Of course, the naira goes a lot farther in Nigeria, and I've made that analysis several times. Sometimes it's been very heavily criticized, but it is what it is. It's scientific that the naira can do a whole lot for you in Nigeria than it would for you in. The other time I even did an analysis, looking at rentals in the UK. For a 3-bedroom flat in Knightsbridge, you probably would need about 10,000 pounds every month. That's a lot of money. But even in our most expensive place in Banana Island, it's a lot less. You may be like a third of the money. And that is what we mean, that, in Naira, if you're trading in Naira and you're in Nigeria, you would do a lot more with your Naira than you would in many of these other countries that we cannot. Therefore, I don't want us to let that be a get out of jail free card, especially for the state governments. Because some of them, I've heard some of the governors say, oh yes, we are getting this money, but in dollar terms. No, it's not dollar terms, it's Naira. First of all, the first charge on your money is to pay your staff. And, and of course, many of the state governors have been magnanimous enough. They are paying even a higher minimum wage than the federal. Some of them are paying. In fact, one of them, I think, is Imo State or so, increased to 120,000. In Lagos State, there is 100,000 for minimum wage, because they also are aware that, look, there's a need to do something because the value of the naira depreciated a few years ago. So, but there's a lot that can be done apart from paying salaries, doing infrastructure work, which impacts directly on multi-dimensional poverty, little infrastructure, road work and all of that, and that's the next level, and that's what many of them already have started to do. I think we're going to see an explosion of those little infrastructure developments in Nigeria, because the factors of production, the price of price have not increased. Some of them have not increased at the same rate as the naira has devalued. So we can't be talking about money illusion here.
Nuisance, Lele.
That is how they go on TV. They will flaunt questionable data. They ordinarily can't really make any impact. Yesterday, they announced the reduction in inflation in the country. Okay, the cost of production is still very much higher, cutthroat. They are aware of that. Businesses are dying slowly, or APC is giving a different impression, and they are converting borrowings. They are converting them to investment, or not converting, no, they are presenting them as investments. You understand? And they are doctoring the books that is looking so good. But when you ask, okay, how is that impacting the lives of the people? Because it should, ordinarily. Okay. Then they will tell you it is, because the prices of things are already coming down and blah, de blah, and the blah. So some people would be optimistic and say, okay, maybe just give them time. Papa, it is a single policy. Nigeria is import dependent, so to say. And until Nigeria produces what she needs, right? And be surplus enough to export at least a lot of what they are producing, the people will feel it. For them, the highest contractor, highest employer of labor in Nigeria today is government. Okay, and these hired, employees of government drawing resources from the scarce resources have made developmental, strides almost impossible. So they now relied more on loans. Sure, you get. So running a country on loans, also you will say, oh, contractors are employing people, they are giving them jobs. Normally,